Shin Godzilla, a movie from 2016 about Godzilla. You guys got it, you get it. It's the time of year where Godzilla's coming back into prominence. Godzilla vs. Kong is on the way. And because of that, I went back and watched a Godzilla movie from a few years ago I haven't seen. And wow, am I glad I watched this. It was intense and gripping and scary and weird. Very weird, surprisingly weird. Almost too weird for me to be comfortable sometimes because I'm just like, it's very, very stylized and it knew exactly what it was doing. So for those of you who don't know the premise of this Godzilla movie, basically, let's go to the Japanese government. We're going to see the prime minister, we're going to see the cabinet members. What happens when these people have to deal with the ramifications of Godzilla emerging? So a creature randomly explodes from the water, it's appearing, suddenly we have to close down, traffic. I don't know why I went to traffic right away if it's in the water, but you get it. Bridges are being closed. We have to get policies passed to get things going. How would the actual government respond to a threat like this? That's what we are seeing. That is what we are experiencing. And that is a very weird and interesting concept that I didn't know I needed from my Godzilla viewing. Now, we've seen it before. It's not a foreign concept that we've seen government officials trying to figure out how to stop it. But this was just boom, okay, we have to do this. Okay, we have to go talk to these guys. Okay, we're having a meeting over here. Okay, we're going back to this place. Okay, we have to get all of this done. Call it off, call this on. Let's do all this, get this going here. We have to get all this figured out before we can do anything about that creature. We're seeing how they're handling that. We're getting some POV footage of the creature emerging. And at first I'm this is really disgusting looking. The creature itself looked really dumb, which I think was the point. Because throughout the movie, we were seeing the metamorphosis of the Godzilla character. So when it first emerges, it doesn't have arms. It's got really buggy eyes and it looks like a dumbass. And I'm just this is disgusting. So grotesque. If that was real, I would lose my shit because it's so ugly and creepy. Very disturbing. But it's pretty cool how we just follow the events as people okay, it's a seismic earthquake, okay, it's a new volcano being erupted, and only when we see the creature do people start to realize we don't know what this is, we don't know how to fight it. Do we call in the military? Do we get outside foreign help for this? What are we supposed to do to stop this being from breaching our shores? They're it's aquatic based. That's good. We'll keep it in the water. But it's oh, it's on land. Oh shit, it's literally dragging its body across our city and destroying things. And let's talk about that right now as it gets into everything in this movie. Man, did the special effects look good. It's got that classic Toho feel where you got wide angles. You can tell this city looks real, but not real enough where you're going to be worried about the destruction. The destruction itself looks incredible. I really, really enjoyed that. Man, it had that classic Toho feel to me, which is kind of what I wanted because I haven't seen a Toho film in a long time. And now I'm just this is it. This is how a modern Toho film would go. You just got your mindless destruction, a weird, creepy thing. But let's get with the 2020 politics or the 2016 politics where it's yeah, we got to get all this figured out before we can launch anything to do anything about it. So a lot of the movie is just sitting in rooms and listening to people talk. I don't think that's a problem. When it's done right, I like that because we got the mindless destruction of a no-armed Godzilla baby just lugging itself across the city. That's pretty cool. And I like this idea too that's we got to evacuate the city. We got to keep people safe. That's our priority. It all comes down to what the prime minister thinks they should do. A very cool thing to see. So it's okay, we got to get our military set up for when things happen with it. We got to get everyone organized. We got to get the destruction clear. We got to get everything figured out. But we get our ragtag group coming in, the underdogs, all these weird outside the box thinkers coming together in a little room. We're okay, it's obviously a giant creature. We got to figure out how to control it and stop it and all that kind of stuff. So what are some theories you guys might have on how we're supposed to take it down? Which is very cool. That trope can be very annoying in a lot of science fiction where it's the outsiders who no one's going to listen to, they are the ones right all along. But here it's the government is right away you guys figure this out, okay? Because we don't know what to do except blow it up and just keep people safe. So tell us what to do. Please tell us what to do. I think that's really cool. Very intense and very creepy. It's just great. The acting is great. All the characters are distinctive and unique. And I like that each time one of them appears on screen that we haven't seen before, or they get a new title, suddenly their role and their name comes up on screen, so we are aware of who these people are. A very fun thing to see. I watched the English dubbed version just because it was late at night and I was I would love to read the subtitles. I'll probably go back and do that at some point. but I just needed to like get this in my brain and just like have it absorb into me quicker. I think it worked well. The dubbed version worked very well. I was very impressed with it. It sounded good. It sounded clear. It sounded like it made sense to what was actually happening. I like that a lot. There's a weird subplot of like the American and Japanese like governments connecting and how they have like this relationship to make themselves stronger. I'm not saying it's uncommon. I'm just like weirdly American, weirdly pro-American. Like, I wonder why. Now, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just wondering why they're like, yeah, that's a weird one to focus on. Even like France, like the ones they focus on to like have the relations with, like France and Germany, I was like, yeah, okay. Interesting choices, but China and Russia, no, okay. Which is fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Japanese person, so I'm not aware if there's like some cultural stigma towards a lot of this stuff, but okay, I'm fine with that. If America wants to come in and help Japan, okay, I'm okay with that. And if it's just like the threat that like they're going to come to our shores, I believe that would be a reason America would get involved. Let's talk a little bit about like the actual design for the Godzilla itself. I don't know how I feel about it. I think originally I thought it looked dumb and stupid. Like the practical effects look great. The CG, is it a practical costume? I don't know. It looks great, but the design itself, a really long tail that I don't know if I enjoy the way the tail looks. It's just a little too like lanky and weird. I like the spikes. I like the way the chest lights up when it's like getting angry, which is very cool. The eyes are kind of stubby and weird looking, and the arms are a little too short for my liking. I don't know why I did the gesture of the Godzilla arms, but I don't know. Something about it, it seemed off, but it also seemed right, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I didn't hate the design. It's not my favorite design for Godzilla, but I'm okay with it. Like, it worked, it served its purpose, so I'm not gonna complain too much about that. It looked good for the most part. And the powers it has are pretty weird, I gotta say. Like, the lights coming out of, like, the scales and the tail laser. It's cool. I wasn't expecting it. Kind of fun. Kind of cool. I like the way they showed, like, the heat coming out of the breath and all that. That looks really fun and unique. But I really just like the board meeting stuff for some reason. That was, like, where I'm like, okay, I don't think it's realistic because they're responding at a reasonable amount of time, but it's just like, I don't think, well, maybe the governments nowadays do have a plan if something like this were to happen, right? Because we've seen enough science fiction that we got to be headed in the direction, like if artificial intelligence happens or like some of this stuff gets here, we probably have a plan for like big monsters. I'd imagine we'd at least try to have one. I don't know. Maybe we don't, but I think somebody there is like, yeah, we got to back up if a Godzilla ever comes. Trust me. Right? Maybe. I don't know. But no, it's such a fun movie. It's just a breezy pace. Like when the cities get destroyed, we're moving to this next location to figure out our board meeting. When people in the cabinet get killed, we're moving on here. Here's the people taking over. We're seeing the ramifications of stuff like this. The real world effect of things like this. Like we can't evacuate 3 million people in the span of 2 weeks. We can't get all those people out of here. We can't do this without any casualties. We can't have all of this working out for our benefit. Along the way, there are going to be some ramifications and casualties we can't count on. Like, it's going to happen. I mean, very realistic. You got to like weigh the needs of the many to the needs of the one. You got to do those things and figure that all out. Now, I wasn't expecting this to be solely Godzilla as the villain. I thought because I've just been integrated with Godzilla fighting things that we'd see another monster that it was stopping. But no, this is just Godzilla just being a dick for no reason. So it's just coming to shore, looking like Godzilla, terrorizing the people, and they have a plan in place just to kind of stop it. So they have like, okay, we're going to bomb it. Not working. The plan comes into place. We're going to nuke Tokyo. That's a big no thanks from a lot of people. And you're just like, that's a bad idea. But to stop it from destroying the world, you might have to, because it has nuclear radiation. We realize, again, the radiation stuff, it's okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. But the plan does work that we're going to freeze it. That's our plan. We are going to freeze Godzilla. And I really love the montage where they're setting it up to freeze him. Like, oh, that looked so good. Just the way it's like, we're attacking, he's blowing him up with trains. All right, get the trucks in there to freeze him. Let's go. That was such intensity, such emotional beats that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm just very impressed with how this movie handled itself and just surprised me along the way. Like I went into this with very timid expectations. Like it's going to be a fun Godzilla piece. I ain't going to think that much of it. but left me going, yeah, board meetings are good sometimes. Sometimes we have to rush around and look like idiots for no reason just to get to where we are. And even if it's like a big Godzilla monster destroying the world, government's still going to do its thing and take time to get its solution. Which, yeah, okay. Makes sense to me. Probably happen any other way in the world that would happen to, except maybe America, we just drop a nuke on it. But I'm not American, so I don't know why I said we would. You guys get it. Godzilla, a good movie from 2016. Toho at it again. I do believe that they are coming out with like an Ultraman version like this. Very cool. So it's called Shin Godzilla. I think in like the English version it was called Godzilla Resurgence, but Toho's like, change the name back to Shin Godzilla. It works just as good. And they're right, it did work just as good. So that is my review of Shin Godzilla. I highly recommend checking it out. I rented it on Apple. It's definitely worth your time. A very cool, gripping movie about politics and about Godzilla himself. Very fun stuff to see. So thank you guys so much for watching this rendition of Galactic Tales. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.